What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Culture 316. I'm one of your hosts and producers, Jordan Nahisi.
Joined to you by your co-host Cody Braxton. How are
Jesus
you?
Christ.
How are we, people?
And if you were on Twitter, you know why this name is this name, and I'm not even going to go further in depth into it. But once again, thank you guys so much for those of you who are tuning in. Thank you guys for your support. If you know the drill. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook or any other visual platform, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, be sure to give us 5 stars. Also subscribe as well. This is how we gain the support and we are able to progress and do the things that we do because of you guys. So thank you guys for that once again. Also, second thing, the Discord link is now live and it is now working. The last time we tried to do it, I think it just like the link expired. But yeah, continue to join our Discord. We're going to be continuing to build community and we love talking to you guys as well. If you guys are interested in being on the show, there's also a Google Forms list for Culture Connections in the bio as well. So if you want to get on the show and speak your piece, you're more than able to do so. And we'll be looking over all the potential applicants, I guess you could say. I feel like a college admissions person, but
Right,
yeah, all the
yeah.
potential
That was
all the potential
nasty.
applicants. Yeah, that was disgusting. But if you're interested in being on the show, hit that Google link, hit that Google Forms link beneath, and let us know what you think. But this show is very, very clearly about one thing and one thing only, and that is this Sunday, AEW All In, live from London, largest professional wrestling gate in the history of professional wrestling events. So we're not even going to waste any more time. We're going to get right into these predictions. So we're going to start with the buy-in match, which is for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. We have Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole. Who do you have in this match?
It'd be cool if they gave it to Adam Cole and MJF because then you could really extend this thing going on with them. But I feel like just because it's AEW, they're not going to let them win. They're going to probably make that like the dig into them turning on each other potentially. I mean, we
Yeah.
already knew off of like the whole belt situation with Adam looking at the bell and then MJF like taking note to that. And then this now he's rubbing to his face, I'm better than you, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you. I feel like it would make more sense to make them lose, blame one person, then let that add some friction. So going into the match, like there's like a love-hate relationship. Now it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, now it's game time. I really don't fuck with you because you lost this opportunity, you're not gonna take this one from me. So yeah, they're gonna take the L's.
I agree. I think that Aussie Open is going to win that match. I think it is going to have implications for what happens later down the line. I'm not going to get into that right now, but when it is time to talk about MJF versus Adam Cole, I will state my hot take. But moving on to the next match for the real World Championship, we have CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Who do you have?
I don't see Joe getting it.
Mm.
I feel like they're going to. I feel like with the way they're building CM Punk as of right now, towards where they're going with the overall feud, it would make sense for CM Punk to go over. I don't think. I don't. I think Joe is just there just to take the pin and just to
Mm.
give him another win underneath his belt until they get
Okay.
there. Yeah, yeah, that's where I'm going. What do you think?
I think that CM Punk is actually going to win the match. I think he's going to retain this real world championship. I think that I don't know if this was the original intention for Collision and Dynamite, but it seems like Collision and Dynamite have a Raw SmackDown relationship in the sense that they kind of have a champion of each brand. I believe that the goal is to have Ricky Starks possibly dethrone CM Punk eventually because I feel like Ricky's the hottest heel in on
Yes,
Collision, and
yes.
I feel like Ricky's the hottest heel on Collision, and I feel like whoever dethrones CM Punk is probably going to be a younger guy, and they want to give him that rub. So I'm gonna go with CM Punk, though. I think that Punk is going to retain. So there's that match. The next match, which I'm actually really, really excited for, Swerve Strickland and AR Fox versus Sting and Darby Allin in a tag team coffin match. Who do we have in this match and why? Ooh,
That's so hard because I wouldn't be mad if either or went over.
right.
Um, has Dark. Wait, this for the belts?
This is for the. This is no belts are involved. No
No
championships are
belts.
involved.
Damn, has Darby Allin got a belt yet? No, right?
Dad
No,
Darby's got a
TNT.
belt. He's won the TNT title like a couple
Yeah, no, he did.
times.
He did. He did. He did. He's just a mid card champion. My bad. My bad. My bad, Darby. No, I was thinking about. I was just like, has he got the tag team belts? No, he hasn't gotten the tag team belts.
He hasn't gotten the tag team belts yet.
This is hard. I'm gonna go with Sting and Darby. I don't really have a good why, but I'm just
Hmm.
I've been really enjoying that. I want to go with Sting and Darby. I don't have a great reason.
You know, I think I'm gonna go with Swerve and AR Fox. I
Why?
think that if we want to solidify the Mogul Embassy as the as a dominant heel faction, and kind of really solidify why AR Fox aligned himself with Swerve. I think that Mogul Embassy needs to win. Mogul Embassy needs to win more than Darby and Sting need to win this match. Um, I think that Darby, whether win, lose, or draw, the focus is going to be on the TNT Championship again. Anyway, that's kind of been implied. So I feel like considering that Darby's going to take that pivot, it just makes more sense for Swerve and AR Fox to win. So I'm gonna go with Swerve and AR Fox. Plus, like the character works that they've been doing is incredible. All right, so there's that.
Yeah, Swerve went
So
through a lot of character changes
what'd you
since
say?
being Swerve has went through a lot of character changes since
He
I
has.
got introduced to him through NXT, but I know he's had multiple characters in general. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say like shout out to him because it's very hard nowadays to come up with a really unique character in wrestling in general, but Swerve just kind of continues to reinvent himself like it's nothing, and it's such a smooth transition that I don't even notice it.
And we also have to give him credit not only just for the transition in his character work, we also have to give him credit for him taking all of the criticism and just refining his character and refining who he is as a pro wrestler. That's not easy. And for him to
No.
kind of be able to kind of go from one company to another, build up some momentum, build up more momentum, and then to be in a tag team match, like it say what you want about tag team matches, to be on a card to go against Sting in the biggest event of the company's year, I think that that speaks volumes. He has done the work. He's one of those guys that I believe, fully benefited from the fact that he had creative control in AEW. I feel like he's one of those people who uses it wisely. You can tell that he really refines his creative character work and that he's using that to his full advantage because he's built himself into something that he wouldn't have been able to be in WWE. And it isn't because he's incapable. It's just because WWE has certain confines. You got to work within certain rules and limits. And seeing him and what he's kind of built with Mogul Embassy is just really, really special. So piggybacking off of you, shout outs to the Mogul Embassy, shout outs to Swerve. Now we have the Stadium Stampede match, and I think this one is going to have a little bit more dialogue behind it because of things that we have heard regarding the match. So we have John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta representing the Blackpool Combat Club, along with three partners of their choice, versus Eddie Kingston, the Lucha Brothers, Orange Cassidy, and the Best Friends. However, we found out earlier today that Ray Phoenix will not be in this match because of some visa
Boo.
issues. So he will not be allowed to enter into the UK. Um,
But the man with the gun got in?
listen. Whoo. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But anyway, um, Ray Phoenix can't go into the country. I think reports have been suggesting that it is because he is still establishing his citizenship in the United States, which I understand and I get it. But Number one, I want to know who will replace Ray Phoenix, and number two, um, who do you think would win this match?
My aggressive coughing would start right before you
Right
ask
now?
me a question. Uh, um, who do I think is gonna win the match? I mean, you have me at Eddie Kingston. I'm on any side. As long as I'm a New Yorker, I'm on any side that Eddie Kingston's on. Okay, enough said about that. I love Eddie Kingston, and I will never like. Yeah. Anyways, someone that will go with the useless squad. Not that everyone's useless, it's just that Wheeler Yuta is on there, so I'm just calling them the useless squad. Um, who would go well in a time like this? So Ray Phoenix was supposed to originally be on their side, or they were supposed to be on the opposing side.
Wait, who is supposed to be on the what side? Phoenix was
Ray
supposed
Phoenix
to be Ray Phoenix was
on Eddie's
supposed to
side.
be because it's on he's on Eddie's side. He's with Eddie
Yeah, but
Kingston
he's
and Orange
not.
Cassidy and the Best Friends.
So how many people is it versus the other in total? Like, is
It's
like
six
how
against
many?
six. It's six on
Oh,
it's 6 on 6, but the Blackpool Combat Club still have yet to announce their three partners of their choice.
oh, they're missing three. Oh,
They're
jeez.
missing three. Yeah.
For a Stampede match, I don't. No, the Elite's already doing something, aren't they? No, you can't bring them. I
Yeah.
don't know. I actually don't know who you would fill in for three spaces to go with them because I don't know who. To me personally, I don't think many people work well with them. So I can't.
Hmm.
I can't think off the top of my head three people that would go well with them. What do you think?
I do. I do.
Oh,
Proud and Powerful and Daniel Garcia.
they're they're a unit again.
Well, Proud and Powerful was just relisted as a tag team on the AEW website. They haven't been public yet, but it's assumed that they are back together as a tag team.
Wait, that's
Obviously,
T.
yeah. And
That's tea. Considering that Ortiz loved being a tag team, embraced being a tag team, wanted it to grow as a tag team, but Santino wanted to have his own
the
like
solo, yeah.
independent, like Bret Hart, like Ryan. That's actually that's interesting and it makes me happy because not for nothing, they were the first tag team, if not private party, that I wanted to see with those tag belts.
Right.
Like they deserved it early on. Like they definitely could have put some respect on the tag team division. Not that it's not any good, but they definitely could have made the tag team division watchable for people who don't care for tag team wrestling because they're full of personality, but they've been doing this tag team shit for a while. So you know
Mm,
what? I like that answer a lot. I actually hope it's them, and I hope that afterwards they'll bridge out and actually like go for the belts and Tony don't play about them this time. But
mm.
you said Proud and Powerful, and who else?
And Daniel Garcia
Daniel
because
Garcia.
he
Um,
because remember the Jericho Appreciation just Society just dispersed, and with the exception kind of like of Sammy Guevara, that no one has really had like a character label kind of attached to them. Nobody knows who's a heel and who's a face. So like everybody's kind of like starting on a blank slate, if you will. Um, so I feel like if you wanted to establish Daniel Garcia as being like an aggressive heel again, like a pro wrestler heel, which I feel like he specializes in. Um,
while
I
he's in AEW, before AEW, like where'd you get that
I
information
think
from?
I mean when he was in AEW, I mean like there were times where like for example when he walked out for his Pure Championship, his Ring of Honor Pure Championship match in Buffalo, and he came out. I think West Side Gun was like rapping his theme song or something like that. Like that's like that aggressive Daniel Garcia that I feel like they would probably want to reintroduce to the world. And if they want to go aggressive again, I feel like him being in this match would be a really good idea. Him along with Proud and Powerful. Also, it adds a little element to the story considering Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful were once a unit, right? They were LAX and they were cool in
I
AEW
forgot
and
about that. Oh
they
my
had like a
God, that
nice
pisses
little
Puerto
unit
Rican
in
off.
AEW before they kind of dispersed and went about their separate ways. So
I like that storytelling, and your brain is amazing.
I have a great, I
Pause.
have a great, I was
Um,
about to say,
yeah, but Daniel Garcia, I never experienced him the way everyone else experienced him. So to me, I always feel like he's being just stuck together with something else.
mm,
So I asked that just because I didn't know if the man actually had a personality or is he like a sponge and he needs to absorb something
Right.
and bounce off. But I like that very much because that's a lot of stories to be told. But I'll definitely be paying attention to the LAX storyline.
Hmm.
That's exciting. But what do you think that this Stadium Stampede is going to exceed the very first one we saw? I feel like that kind of just like set the bar.
It set the bar, and there was also a story attached. Like I feel like the inner circle versus the elite was a well developed story going into Stadium Stampede. I also feel like one of the reasons why Stadium Stampede was so crazy was because of COVID, right? Because they had an entire NFL field to themselves where they can just kind of experiment and play and explore and do things that you probably couldn't do in a full arena match. Like this man Hangman Adam Page did a freaking 100-yard dash to hit a lariat.
Yeah,
Like bro
I
ran
remember
the
that.
length
Do you
of a football field to
and do
hit
you
a
remember the
lariat.
suplexes? Like he just kept suplexing across the
Yes,
field.
just throughout the duration of just all
Like there's
throughout the
wrestling
football
going on.
field.
You just suplexing.
And he just kept going. But like you can't do that like in this
The
thing.
nigga
So
came
I
on a
don't think,
horse. There was a
bro.
bar involved. Someone got thrown into a freezer. Oh
They were
my god.
exactly there. It was so chaotic, but part of the reason why it was so chaotic is because due to COVID, they had that entire stadium to themselves. So I'm very, very eager to see how this is going to play out in a full stadium of 80,000 people. Like it's going to be a lot to keep up with. So I'm very eager to see what happens.
And that's
Um,
really cool looking down at a stadium stampede.
yeah, it,
And
it
like,
should be. But wait, so who do you have though in the match though? Who do you have in this match?
on any side that Eddie's on.
Eddie, any side Eddie's on, I'm gonna go.
Side
I'm
that
gonna I'm
Eddie's
gonna
on.
I'm gonna agree with you. So we're gonna move to so yeah, Eddie Kingston's team. We're gonna move on to the next match, which is Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. I'm very eager to see this match. I think this is gonna be a great moment for Will Ospreay. I'm gonna go for the winner of this match. I'm gonna go with Will Ospreay. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Will Ospreay, but I can't say I'm excited for the match. I'm not saying I don't want to see the match, but it's just that like Chris Jericho wrestles pretty slow and
Mm-hmm.
wrestles his age is the best way to put it. And like
Mm,
Will Ospreay, I'm used to seeing him like springing around, flipping, going lightning speed. So it's going to be quite a pace change, and I don't know how that's going to translate.
yeah,
It's probably still going to be a good match, and I'm otherwise really happy for Jericho and Will Ospreay because I mean that's big. That is huge, and
it
I feel like
is.
Chris Jericho, as much as maybe I'm not excited to see how their ring chemistry is going to be, Chris Jericho was like the forefront for AEW during a really tough time,
Yeah,
and he set the bar for that AEW World Championship, and to me came off like the face of the AEW division. So I kind of feel like it's rightfully so that in the largest stadium sold out that you give this opportunity to Jericho to work with a star like Osprey. I mean, I think it's like never before seen, right? They never wrestled before, right?
yeah. I don't think they have. I think this is the first time.
Yeah, so I think it's probably going to be fun. Maybe it's not going to be like the best wrestling match I've ever seen, but it probably is going to be fun just because I know that Will and Jericho have a personality. So maybe if I'm not paying attention to like how technical the wrestling is and all these extra flips and tricks, maybe the psychology is just going to sell me in. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Will Ospreay for the winner.
I'm gonna go with like, I think I said Will Ospreay earlier, so
Yes,
I'm
you
gonna, I'm
did.
gonna stick with that. I'm gonna go with Will Ospreay as well. But I am very, very excited for the match. It's definitely gonna be a clash of styles. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I feel like if anything, Will is gonna show a different side of him in order for this to be the match that it needs to be. So, but moving on from that, we got the Golden Elite, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. Who do we have winning this match?
I can't cheat on my husband, so Ibushi. As much as because I want to say Jay White because I love Jay White and I love everything he's done so far, and I love him and Juice Robinson as a duo. They're so chaotic together and like this just the most funnest way. They're like two bros, and I
They
love
are.
that. I love it. Um, but Yeah, I gotta be loyal to my man. I gotta be loyal to my man. So we gotta go to
Thank you to
Ibushi.
you. Thank you to my man.
Thank you to my man.
I'm weak.
Go ahead.
But I have Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like Bullet Club Gold needs a breakout win. Huh?
Nothing. I'm
No.
just talking shit.
I was about to be like, what are you saying, nigga? Um, Um, I feel like Bullet Club Gold just needs a breakout win that's going to solidify them and put them at the top of the card, right? I feel like they have kind of made Collision their home. And I feel like if you want to create Collision as a separate brand, you need to have faces that are very, very unique to that brand. You have Punk, you have Ricky Starks, but I feel like you need a faction that's going to kind of solidify that. And they've been creeping up there. Like obviously the Guns had a match with the Bucks in the main event of Collision not too long ago. But I feel like Jay White and Juice Robinson need a win over the Elite in order to kind of solidify themselves on Collision as like we're the top dogs around here. And hopefully that can lead to opportunities for guys like Jay White and Juice Robinson. I would love to see both of them go after singles titles. For me personally, I would love to see Jay White go after the real world title. Him against Punk would be great. I feel like Juice Robinson should go after the TNT championship. That would be great. But I feel like a good stepping stone for that would be this win. So that's the reason why I'm going to go with Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Takashita.
I could tolerate it, but Ibushi better not eat the pin or I'm raising hell.
I want to see that. I want to see you raising hell. I live for
I will
chaos,
raise
mom.
hell in the spaces, okay?
But
My man better not eat nothing
that's a
with me.
pause. But
Because
mm, that's a pause. Moving on to the next match, we have Sheeta versus Soraya versus Tony Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker, ZMZ, for the AEW Women's World Championship. Who do we
wait,
have in this match and why?
wait, give me the names all over again. That
Uh,
was it.
Sheeta,
Sheeta,
Soraya,
Day.
Tony Storm,
Mm,
and Britt Baker.
mm. So the ops versus Sheeta.
Exactly.
Yeah, like literally, it's the ops versus Sheeta. Um, I'm gonna still go with Sheeta. Um, I'm gonna go with Sheeta just because I don't see any value in you putting it on Tony. I feel like she gave me a whole bunch of nothing with
Mm,
the belt. Although she did try with her character. I kind of like this like drugged out cigarette mom ego she kind of has going on. That's what I
yeah.
get out of her. That's what she kind of reminds me of. Um Britt Baker, if she got it, I don't think that many people would be mad, but it's just like, why would you give it to her? She'd have just got it. Saraya don't deserve a damn thing because Saraya hasn't done anything to me at
Mm,
all. But at the same time, it is London.
mm,
It is London, so Tony Khan could be because he likes Saraya. We don't like Saraya. We keep forgetting that. We keep forgetting that like Tony Khan is a mark. And he may just give it to Saraya just because. I think it would make the most sense to let Sheeta have another reign because to me, that belt, if not on Britt Baker, has felt the most important when it was defended by Sheeta.
mm.
And I don't think anyone would be mad if Sheeta won
I mean,
because she's
Sheeta's the champion now, so.
yeah, I know she's a champion now, but I'm saying like I feel like no one would be mad if she won just because if she had another long reign, it wouldn't feel like it's sucking the division dry. Everyone else
Mm,
that had the belt so far, I'm not saying they sucked the division dry, but I also don't feel like the belt felt any more important.
mm,
So I feel like the two main focuses I have to keep on is probably either going to Saraya just for the simple fact that they're in London or
mm,
whatnot, and Cheetah, just because she's the main champion, and I think that the crowd would want Cheetah to go over, unless
mm,
again you're shilling for Saraya. So I'm gonna go for that. I think that actually it might end up being a situation where either Tony or Saraya might be close to victory, but one of them's gonna turn on one another,
mm,
and then that's how they're going to end up taking the L. I don't think Britt's gonna be quite a factor, so I'm gonna go
mm.
with Cheetah. Cheetah, yeah.
That's interesting. I I think Sheeta is gonna retain, but at the same time, I still see possibly Soraya winning. The reason
Location.
being, it's the UK. While while I haven't necessarily been fond of her character work, I do see her having a moment in which she wins, much to the chagrin of Tony Storm. And I feel like because Tony already has this bougie kind of persona that she's been adapting lately,
Hmm.
that it's very anti outcast. And I feel like that coupled with Soraya's win is going to start to drive a wedge between the faction and really cause tension and can possibly lead to a match or a case in which Soraya loses it right after. But the pop that Soraya would get would be insane in London. I feel like that would make for a pretty cool moment. Um, and considering that All In or All Out Chicago is next week and Dynamite is this week, I feel like they can definitely do something in which Saraya wins the title and then shortly thereafter loses the title.
Okay, she
Um,
loses it after I could deal with it, but she better not have a long run because
yeah, I was gonna.
I can't put up with no Saraya matches. They none of them have been good. None of them. Nothing that she's done so far has impressed me. Like if we're
Mm,
gonna carry that belt, put it on a real champion. So I mean, if it hot potatoes back to Tony Storm because of that, because how do you end a faction in Wrestling 101? You normally make the people fight.
right.
So if it hot potatoes back to Tony Storm because of that, fine. But they need to take that shit right the fuck off Saraya. They need to make her delusional, let her get ahead of herself, and let her lose the fucking belt. Because she is already delusional, but like don't give her the belt for very long. If
Mm,
you want to give London a good time, I'm not against London having a good time. If you want to give London a good time and put the belt on Saraya, that won't piss me off if they just snatch it right off. That's all I'm
mhm.
getting at.
I see that. I definitely see that. But moving on to the next match, which is one of the most anticipated matches on the card, it's the end of the trilogy. The Young Bucks, FTR, AEW World Tag Team Championships. Who do we have in this match?
I just feel like my answer is drastically different over the past 2 weeks
Mm.
because I want it to be FTR because I really like FTR. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Go with the Bucks.
I just feel like like after everything that transpired, if you want to make your company look good and redeemable, you would still assert a form of a punishment. Like, all right, like you had a show to book. This is what the people paid for to see. Give them the show, but change the ending, and they'll
Mm.
just have to learn the hard way.
I also say it's the Young Bucks, but I think that my answer was going to be the Young Bucks, regardless of what happened these past couple of weeks, or not, just for the simple fact that all of the elite just signed multi-year contract extensions for AEW. And so because of that, I feel like that kind of, to me, that kind of like solidified the fact that, if it was an all-in situation where it was the Bucks versus FTR, I think that the Young Bucks are going to win. Because at the end of the day, the Young Bucks are AEW. And that's just like a given. So that's my thing pertaining to them. By the way, if y'all want to hear our thoughts on what happened these past couple weeks, we have a culture quickie that's already out. Y'all go listen to that. But this is the main event, and I've been waiting for this all show because I have a hot take. Um, it is for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, MJF versus Adam Cole. Who do you have? Why do you see anything happening?
Okay, so I'm going with I'm going with M not MJF. I'm going with Adam Cole
Hmm.
only because there's not that many people prepped enough with natural star power to take the belt off of MJF. I mean, there's one person in the back, and that the only other person I could possibly think about is Ricky.
Hmm.
But I want to go with Adam Cole just because I don't think people really took Adam Cole that seriously in AEW until the last, maybe what they've been doing with him for like the last like 6 months ish or
Hmm.
last few months ish. And I feel like since they built him up to feel like the star that he was in NXT or like Ring of Honor right now with what they're doing with him and MJF, I feel like it would make for great storytelling right now if they made Adam Cole switch up on MJF. They give us the most heelish version of Adam Cole that we've seen thus far. And as Whitney said it in the chat brilliantly, send the devil back to hell because I feel like that's the greatest way to wrap up the storyline. If you give it to MJF, though, it would make for a great crowd uproar in London.
Hmm.
Because I feel like everyone thinks it's going to be the latter, and that MJF is going to turn on Adam Cole because it just makes sense and it looks like they keep giving us little clues. But I don't feel like they would keep giving us obvious clues like that if
Uh-huh.
it was if just for it to actually be MJF. I feel like if they really wanted MJF to turn on Adam Cole, they would make it like, you know, they would have set us up in a position where it would have felt like, all right, like I don't know. Maybe he's gonna lean towards Adam, but I feel like the fact that they keep giving us very obvious clues as if they're trying to make us think that is MJF makes me think more so that it's going to be Adam Cole
Hmm.
because you kind of have like a oh we got you moment. So I think that it's gonna be I think it's gonna be Adam, but I have a strong feeling what your hot take is going to be, and it's gonna probably be the opposite. So I want to hear what you got to say.
So boom. I think that Adam Cole is going to win. I think that he's going to turn on MJF. But the way that I see it and that I see happening is a couple of things. And this, ooh. All right, so boom. So you know how Roderick Strong has been like, kind of like what happened to my best friend Adam Cole type of situation. Like
Yes,
you was my friend, now you're his friend. I feel
yes,
like Adam and Roddy have been plotting, and I think that what's going to happen is that Roddy is going to interfere. MJF thinks it's going to be in his favor when it's really in Adam Cole's favor. And it's not just going to be uh, Roddy, but I also think that Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are going to be involved as well as Maria. Remember shows ago when we said Adam Cole
Maria.
needs to be the leader of a faction?
Yes, yes, I do.
At one point in time in Ring of Honor, Adam Cole was a part of a faction called the Kingdom.
Yeah, I
It was
remember
Adam Cole.
that.
And I feel like they're going to reunite the Kingdom, and it's going to be Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Maria. And on top of that, because this faction is going to reform in order for Adam Cole to win the world title, it's going to cause MJF to reunite the Pinnacle with himself, FTR, and Wardlow because Wardlow is not doing anything right now. But I can see that happening. I can see Adam Cole turning heel, being the leader of a faction, being reunited with Roddy, and essentially just turning heel. And then that leads into a story where there is more MJF and Adam Cole, but it's going to be as Adam Cole as the heel, MJF as the face, and they're both going to have their respective factions. So that's what I think is going to happen at All In.
Now, where does Ricky come into this later down the line?
So remember, Ricky is on Collision, right? Ricky's on Collision, and it seems as if the belt that Punk holds, the real world championship, is the championship that's going to be exclusive to Collision. So I feel like Ricky and Punk are going to have their own thing for the belt. I mean, they've had a feud, but I feel like Ricky's going to chase that belt. He's not going to chase the AEW world. heavyweight title. So he's going to be caught up over there. But
Do you
I just
think that with that being said, though, like, you know how since they're basically copying whatever the fuck WWE is doing, do
right.
you feel like they're going to have their own version of a Survivor Series down the line?
If things become copacetic, I mean, obviously we've heard a lot of like conflicting reports pertaining to Punk versus the Elite, and I feel like it's something that could happen. But I feel like it's rooted in if there's actual peace between both entities. That's like my only concern. What about you? Do you see this happening in a sense where you'll see like a collision versus a dynamite?
Yeah, honestly, and I feel like it would put a lot of asses in seats. However, the only thing is that like Dynamite and Collision are two drastically different shows. Like I feel like when I watch Dynamite, it reminds me of me watching WWE, and then I
Mm,
feel like when I watch Collision, it does feel like the type of AEW that they were trying to give us to begin with.
mm,
So there's that. But I do feel like down the line, maybe give another year or two, they may just challenge that idea and do like brand invasions and stuff like that,
no, I can see that. Sorry,
or have their own draft because I doubt they're gonna keep the same roster forever.
I
Usually,
agree.
what comes with a draft normally it just it sparks the idea of okay, like drafts equal teams.
Right.
Teams got to be pitted against one another. So I think that's what's going to happen. But now just to jog it back towards your theory towards what's going to happen, I feel like that's a brilliant idea because I mean Adam Cole's been doing a good job solo. He actually has been shocking the hell out of me because I did not think off of his first presentation that he was doing very much here in AEW,
Right.
but he's really holding his own by himself, and I'm like pleasantly entertained by watching him and MJF. So I feel like that's actually a really cool callback to ROH to put him back in his original faction. And it'll give
Mm,
everyone something to do. It'll give everyone like a usable role again. But Adam
I agree.
always looks great with a team. It only makes him look more like a god. So that'd be great. Does MJF need a whole faction? No, no, he doesn't. I feel like he could use a lackey just because he's an asshole.
Right.
And every asshole usually has someone that idolizes them just a little bit. I could see him having a lackey that he's talking shit to and treating like an assistant or a servant or something like that. But to see a whole faction, that'd be interesting. I'm not saying he can't do it. He definitely can. I. How would you even go about that? I don't.
I
With his
honestly don't.
personality,
Who, MJF?
yeah. With MJF having a faction, like I can't.
Well, I mean, it happened already with the Pinnacle, right? Like they
I don't feel like
had
that's a faction
that was
too.
a
But
faction technically. I just feel like the execution wasn't as good as it could have been. But I think it was a rough idea of what a MJF faction would look like. A bunch of well-dressed guys, usually people who are all kind of sharing the same sentiment of being champions in their respective divisions. And then he has the one guy who's just the insurance policy, who at first it was Sean Spears and then it became Warlow. Um,
the
so I
insurance
think that
policy is
that's
hilarious.
that's kind of like the template. That's like the blueprint. But that wraps up our predictions. However, there was something that I came across, which is the reason why I was saying on the reason why I've been scrolling fervently is
Very
because
aggressively.
it has just been announced that Terry Funk has passed away at the age of 79. Um so I just found that out through Fightful Online via Instagram. Terry
What?
Funk Terry Funk just passed away. Um so before we sign out the show, definitely want to send my love and my prayers to the family of Terry Funk. He was instrumental in in just being a pro wrestling legend and being a pioneer of the hardcore style, especially in his early years in ECW. Not even his early years, his late years in ECW. He was a pioneer of that hardcore style, and even before and beyond that. So, wanted to just send my love and my well wishes to the family of Terry Funk. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. Um,
Dude, no
Thank you for
fucking
everything that
way.
you've contributed to the industry. But I think we're gonna wrap up the show on that. So first things first, y'all. You know what the drill is. Meet us in our Twitter, our 316 space for All in London this Sunday. I believe the show starts at 12, so 11:45 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be gathering into that space, so be sure to meet us there. We can't wait to kick it with y'all. It's going to be great. Very much looking forward to the show. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Have a good one, y'all. Bye, 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 bye.